Let's stick in the vein of the portal because there was news that broke yesterday. Phil Longo, offensive coordinator for North Carolina, says, you know what? I'm going to go to Wisconsin. Great hire by Luke Fickell. Phenomenal pickup with how he developed Drake Maye and how he got that offense, just scoring a ton of points in the ACC, competed for an ACC title this past season. Josh Downs was a playmaker for them as well. Like, he's coached a lot of studs, put a lot of studs in position to succeed by way of his offense. Averaged right around 33 points a game last year. So, with that news, all eyes then looked to his quarterback. In the day and age of player mobility, Drake Maye would have been well within his rights to transfer with Phil Longo to Wisconsin. Also, doesn't hurt to mention that Drake Maye, wherever he transferred, would likely have been able to get some sort of NIL package that's in the millions department. Like, he would have made a bag, all right? However, Drake Maye takes to Twitter and essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, just says, I could never leave this place. I'm a Tar Heel. I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. And this kind of got a rise out of the college football community, kind of out of the college football landscape, if you will, because he was a big domino that we were looking to see if he would fall in the transfer portal and go after the NIL money. However, this wasn't something that was really super on our radar here at the Hard Count. I mean, we thought it could maybe happen, but all that's to say, we're not surprised by Drake Maye deciding he wants to stay in Chapel Hill for a couple of reasons. The first is Drake Maye is not a guy that is new to having this kind of options at his fingertips. Came out of high school, Charles Power, director of scouting rankings at On3, had him as a top 5 quarterback. Now, what does that mean? It means you have options out of high school. It means he could have gone to Clemson. It means he could have gone to Ohio State, could have gone to Georgia. He was committed to Alabama at some point in time. He said, yeah, I'm going to go be with the Crimson Tide. Let's do it. Last second, decommits, says, you know what? I'm staying home. I'm staying in Charlotte. I want to build something here at UNC. So all that's to say, he could have gone to one of those other, bigger, more football brand kind of schools, decided to stay at UNC. But he made that decision in high school. This wasn't a decision that he just had to reevaluate big time and sit down with the family and decide if he wanted to stay. No, I think this was a decision that has been made for a long time in Drake Maye's mind. He knows his NIL value. He knows he can go and make a lot of money somewhere else, but he's happy at UNC. And he's not going to leave for a bigger time program. And that's kind of what we've seen some of these programs feast on. Is, a player like a, Drake Maye, or maybe not like a Drake Maye. You have a player pop at a lower Power 5 school or an FCS school, whatever it is, and when they jump on the radar, if they weren't on your radar in high school, then you say, okay, if I'm Alabama, I'm Florida, I'm wherever, I'm going to make it a point to get that player on my roster. He's too good to be at North Carolina. He's too good to be at insert other school here. But again, Drake Maye has already had those conversations with his family, had those conversations, I'm sure, with other individuals that wanted him to go to their school and said, you know what, thanks, but no thanks. Decommits from Alabama, commits to North Carolina. So none of this is really new to him to have big-time options for Drake Maye. It's worth noting, what was told to me is there were schools like Alabama, like Ohio State, and like Florida that would have, quote, loved to have him on their program. I don't know what that means in regards to communication. I just know that means that other schools would have wanted him to play for them. I will leave it at that. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, if you haven't yet followed me on Twitter and Instagram at JD Piquel, I would strongly encourage you to do both of those things. We got content coming on this channel every single day. We want you locked in, all right? There was a lot of debate for Drake Maye, and will he hit the portal for NIL? And I don't think it is a stretch to say, like I said, he would have gotten millions, right? I don't know what he's getting right now in North Carolina. He would have gotten millions to go somewhere else where they have a lot of NIL resources. Here's my thought on this. For Drake Maye, you have what, 2 more semesters left? 3 more semesters left until you go to the NFL. He's going to get a ton of money in the NFL. He's going to get paid much more than whatever NIL can offer him when he gets selected in the first round of the NFL draft, may even be the first pick. It would have been arguably more inconvenient for him to go somewhere else and leave a situation he has in North Carolina where he's familiar with the coaches, familiar with his teammates. It's a new OC, yes, but I promise you it would be just one variable changing as opposed to all the variables around you changing. I think it's more risky / more inconvenient to follow a guy like Phil Longo to Wisconsin and change everything around you than to stay where you are a sure thing and you know what's around you. You know who's going to be in that receiver room. You know your head coach. We all talk about following the play caller, and I get that. But I don't think we take into account how much of a risk that actually is. We don't know what that offense is going to look like at Wisconsin yet. We don't know if they have the personnel when all this dust settles around the portal that he can throw to. It's arguably more inconvenient. And I think for some NIL money and a couple semesters at our new school, the NFL is right around the corner. If I'm Drake Maye, I think he made the right decision. Now, finally, loyalty is really what played a factor in him staying at North Carolina. It definitely played some percentage of a factor if you don't believe it was one of the key contributors, but I think it was. There is a built-in loyalty for Drake Maye at North Carolina. He's from Charlotte. His dad played quarterback at North Carolina. Brother was a basketball player named Luke Maye at North Carolina. His brother is currently his roommate and also on the basketball team at North Carolina. So there's ties to this school. And I say this a lot. People commit to people. That is very much true. I think, though, in Drake Maye's case, when he committed to North Carolina, he committed to the university and not just a group of people. I'm sure the group of people were more than good enough to get him on board. But the university itself, I think, has always had his heart. You look at his history as a recruit with the decommitment from Bama. North Carolina is where he wants to be. It's where he's always wanted to be honest with you. So good for Drake Maye deciding to not portal and to see it through what he's done at North Carolina so far and to just kind of finish what he started, which I think is what it really comes down to for him. Like I said, he's going to be a top pick in the NFL draft, if not the top pick. It would have been short-sighted. It would have been more inconvenient, and it would have gone against his loyalty to that program. So I respect Drake Maye for making the decision he did, and they're going to be a contender in the ACC next year. We'll see who they get at offensive coordinator, but they're going to be a program to be dealt with in that conference. Very much wide open, competed for the title this year, but I'm excited to watch what happens there as Drake Maye says, you know what? Like Leo DiCaprio says, I'm not leaving. Good on Drake Maye. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.